Hello, I'm Pablo, and today is your lucky day. I bring to you a great opportunity and a great idea for a film. It consists in bringing to the big screen the magnificent short story The Open Boat, written by the well-known American writer Stephen Crane in 1897. The story is based in real life. The own writer of the story, Stephen Crane, wrote the story after he experienced a shipwreck in the coast of Florida while traveling to Cuba. The fact of knowing that the author of the film lived exactly the same that is showed on the film gives it a touch of veracity and excitement. The Open Boat is a thriller drama that tells the story of 4 shipwreck survivors in the coast of Florida who have to deal with the open sea in a boat with smaller dimensions than some baths. The story begins with the mysterious sound of the sea, waves coming and going, a cloudy day and 4 men in a tiny boat in the middle of nowhere. The 4 characters are the oiler, the captain, the correspondent, and the cooker. The characters are inside of the boat, rowing without an exact direction. Their situation is terrible. They were trapped inside of a tiny boat fighting against the ferocity of the sea. The only thing that they can see is the sea and the waves, and the only way that they have to see the time is by looking the waves' colors. A gentle wave rises them enough to see the horizon. The correspondent is able to see something at the edge of the sea. At first, it seems staying in the vastness of the sea, but then it becomes bigger and bigger and he becomes able to recognize it. It is a minuscule lighthouse in a small island, and they row and row. They approach nearer to the shore, but with a certain safety distance, otherwise the boat could not resist it. They start to move their rows, their hands at their jackets with strings, but with no answer. They analyze the situation and they decide that the best decision was to bring the boat back to the open sea. During the story, it appears an special relationship between the characters that goes further a simple friendship, a relationship forged in a constant thread, a relationship of 4 strangers in the same situation, sharing their feelings, thoughts, and hopes, who have become family with the time. After a long time rowing, they manage to make out shore again and they get close to it. When they approach, they distinguish something on the shore. There are a couple of men. The men on the shore start to make signals with their jackets and with their hands. The characters think that they are safe and think that the men will go after them soon, but then more and more people start to join in the group and making signals as well. The characters get confused trying to figure out what does that signals mean. They wait and wait until the night, where they get enough tired of waiting and they decide to row further to find another place to dock. What they don't know is that those people making signals on the shore are shipwreck survivors as well who have ended up there and they don't know what to do. A night in a small boat in the open sea is a long night and the protagonists know it. In order to move forward, they take turns. One rows as much as he can, and then when the tiredness beats the strength, they change. They make this during all night. But at the beginning of the day, when the sun was rising on the sky, they find shelter again. But that small island is the character's last destination, and the small amount of sand, some trees, a lighthouse, and some poor houses are a character's salvation. They get near to the shore to get seen by someone. They all noticed that that island was their last chance for their lives. They knew that the boat wouldn't last forever, and it was quickly dying because of its constant fight against the sea and waves. They know exactly what to do and what was going to happen, but they are not brave enough to admit it. But then it becomes so clear that they prepare themselves for it. They see a giant wave that will end up with the boat for sure. They arm of courage and jump off the boat. Just as they thought, that wave passed huge, angry, and merciless, carrying with it the small boat. The water in January was icy. They all swim and swim as hard as quick as they can. While swimming, they have an eternal fight with their own strength and their minds. The oiler leads the race. They get to a place where it's difficult to swim properly, where waves and currents drag you wherever they want. Some of them almost lose their lives inside of a current. A man in the shore gets quickly into the sea, trying to help out the characters. He helps the captain, the correspondent, and the cooker, but he hasn't got time enough to help the other. It was too late to do anything. He was swinging in the sea with the waves pushing him back and forward as a toy. Finally, they all reach the shore except of the oiler, whose corpse was laying on the sand. They get a reception from many people bringing blankets, clean clothes, and some coffee.